Stanley Kubrick and his films are part of the cultural consciousness. He is written about endlessly and thought about even more. Scholarly books on his work are abundant, international conferences are held, references and allusions appear in everything from The Simpsons and television commercials to those planted in other people's films. Enormous crowds have visited a traveling museum installation based on his work. Films about his films appear on YouTube. Taschen has released several glossy picture books featuring his work. The fashion house Gucci recreated costumes and sets from Kubrick films to show off their collection in 2022. In 2024, director and writer Armando Iannucci created a stage version of Dr. Strangelove. The very titles of his films have become cultural markers. There is a reason for so much interest. His films endure not only because they are cinematic masterpieces, but also because their maker was such an enigma. A famously private family man, though never the recluse of legend, he could be obsessive, controlling, and dictatorial, but at the same time he was funny, warm, generous, giving, and receptive to the ideas of others. "I led a relatively normal life," he said, if normal means producing extraordinary art created by making extraordinary demands on himself. Stanley Kubrick was never not making a film. As much as we bemoaned that there were only 13 completed features, there were dozens of projects throughout his life to which he devoted his extraordinary attention. He was continually looking for the story that would spark his cinematic imagination, but they were few and far between. To get to the few and far, he had to go through the near at hand, through pulp fiction by Jim Thompson, stories of the Civil War and an Icelandic saga, science fiction, the Holocaust, World War II, Napoleon, and Viennese fin de siècle quasi-erotic fiction by Stefan Zweig, and always Arthur Schnitzler. Kubrick was never idle. If he called a friend or co-worker, and he was always calling people, almost always to get some information, who said they were on vacation, his response was, "Why? Why would someone want time off from thinking about films?" He loved that part, the thinking and planning, and then the construction of a story, pre-production and editing. The actual process of filming was only necessary.